All right, finally the DTIYS script. Let's get the mother going. Ugh. All right, starting in. Ooh, now I got a burp. Ugh. All right, I'm bored. Let's find a DTIYS. A staple in the art community is putting on fun challenges for others to compete in across the world. These challenges vary greatly with different parameters announced to meet an ultimate criteria. Sometimes, artists compete for more than just fun. Sometimes it's the pride of your blended Aves amphibian family in which defending is paramount. In order to walk away with your pride, you may be forced to do the unthinkable. Or the individual posting is offering a prize. These challenges are usually done to test one's skill, learn from the poster, or more commonly for fun. I find myself in all three categories usually. It's a much less hostile way of saying that I wish to steal all of the art secrets from everyone. What I've found myself doing lately is hunting for art secrets through specific types of challenges. Draw this in your style, or DTIYS challenges, are actually great sources of information. At this point, you should know all about these, seeing as how I've already talked about some of the DTIYS challenge attempts that I've done before, and the fact that I have my own going on right now. Updates on the deadline with that are coming soon. I initially wrote this script 8 months ago, and I'm not wasting it. If you see something that you like promoting the DTIYS title, the original artist is practically begging you to steal every secret that they've displayed to the world and showcase how it will flourish in your own piece. With that being said, I think participating in a few random DTIYS challenges would be a lot of fun. We'll peek into a few artist challenges, maybe talk about some of the ones that I did in the past, and see what we can learn about them. This art that we're looking at is, I actually don't know who this is. This is what happens when you see art you like, draw it, and then forget to post it for like 8 months. I legitimately can't find the original artist, which is a shame because I really liked what I saw back then when I peeked at their IG account. I want to revisit this artist, so the few of you that see this, can you do me a favor, and if you recognize them, let me know? Thanks. Ooh, wait, scratch that. I found her. Victoria! Where did the art go? I had to image search it just to find you. What, you think you can hide the art secrets from me? Nah. I'ma learn me some. So Victoria is a digital creator and hinges a lot of her art on her OC, Naomi. I like that Naomi has a pretty nice backstory settled into some good world building. It inspires me a bit to talk about my own. If you're interested, visit her post and show her some love. Placing Naomi in all these different scenarios, holiday outfits, Halloween costumes, seasonal designs, it's all inspiring. Victoria also has an online store selling keychains and a Patreon where she posts, well, more content, including some not safe for work art that I will probably never see. Based on her usual art, I'm pretty sure it's good. This time, we'll do some DTIYSs that are already closed. Let's see how that plays out with Victoria's art first. My attempt at this started traditional because I was somewhere without my iPad, and I had to dive into this ASAP, so there was paper, there was pencil, I had no choice. But to make this happen, I needed to start with the sketch, which was this. Funny enough, a while back I talked about how I was utilizing a different method of rendering my art. That is slowly becoming my main focus. I still don't know what we're calling it, but it's the same one that I used when I did that quick character sketch of Hope. Just less developed. I think this is the first time I used it actually. We placed our colors, separated all of the different sections, and then we started rendering. Of course, there was a ton of cleanup, but when has that never been a thing for me? We worked out all the coat stuff,
Then we worked on the dress and eventually made our way to the hair and the skin. My rendering method at the time for hair wasn't as developed as it is now, but it came out decently enough, I guess. And I really like the dress. The subtleties of rendering something light are always so much fun to play around with, no matter the material. In fact, I think it makes the material shine a bit more. I will say that her face in my version lacks a bit of life, but it was overall a good experience. Yes, I know I'm missing some things, but this is, well, I don't know. This was originally a quick attempt to test out the rendering method and just figure things out from there. I call this one a success, and exploring more of Victoria's art made it worth it. Guess it's time for us to choose some qualities to steal for in the future. We'll figure that out. Next. What, you thought we were just doing one?
Foolishness. The goal here is to learn as much as possible, so no more pulling punches. I'm coming after everybody. Hell, we've even got some of who I consider personally the current greats on the list. I've made it no secret that you will be studied. You know exactly who you are. Before we get there though, I'm not going to overlook anybody. If I see it and I like it, I'ma draw it. Let's get to our next artist. The artist we're looking at now is Shalfine. Still praying I pronounce these names correctly. This screams JRPG art. Y'all know those like mobile game ads that pop up with the amazing art and entice you into downloading, effectively trading a quarter of your life? Yeah, this is that art. Look at it. Look at all of it. That feeling checks out. Seeing as how Shalfine is identified as an artist and game designer, I guess that makes sense. Hey look, she's on break, like I'm supposed to be, as of the recording of this audio. Fun fact, usually when an artist says that they are on break, 80% of the time, we're still working. The difference is that we don't have to balance when things are actually being posted at the same time. You guys have no idea the amount of stuff I'm trying to get done currently. You'll see it though. Shalfine's art is very fantasy driven, with beautiful colors and wonderful displays of lighting here and there. Since we're doing her DTIYS, I think pulling elements from her other work, such as like the lighting and stuff, will help. Let's start with this sketch, which was also done as a quick traditional one. I hope you all are realizing I was just very bored without my iPad one day. Probably gonna get a sketchbook for this, one of these days. That way I don't have to constantly keep wasting printer paper or some shit. This time you guys are getting a more recent version of my process and even a bit of live footage. I draw everything everywhere, so hopefully you're enjoying that. Every time I do something new, I'm further adapting new aspects to my process. I'll talk about it more, with specifics of that some other time. But this particular thing I'm doing is like a map. Basically, I start with a stolen concept from Sam by painting a base color layer. Then I paint each item into different layers, to easily separate them. After that is where I go off the rails with this kind of weird thing a bit. I duplicate all my layers and then I flatten one set. Then select that original layer cut out and I move to my flattened layer and just paint accordingly. Sofa likes efficiency. Once everything is rendered out to the point that I'm comfortable, we'll place the finishing touches. I will say that I usually get wrapped up in making things look perfect and I'm trying to let that go. So we're gonna leave this a bit messy and layer in our details after we get the hair taken care of. I was thinking that this would be a bit tedious at points, but it was mostly a lot of fun and I'm happy to say that I was wrong.
Doing all of this hair was actually not as bad as I thought it would be. I had to adjust how it was, selected by essentially making a new quote-unquote map for the selection to follow, but it worked. There were a few spots where I had to be just a bit more careful with the blending, but compared to the alternative, this was much more streamlined. We're pretty much done here. After a few more touch-ups, the ethereal bunnies, and some textures, plus the fact that I forgot the locket, I'm not putting it in, okay? Whatever. We finished another DTIYS. This is good. I think I got what I wanted from this. As I said earlier, this one is already closed out, and it ended 15 July, I think? So we're not really competing for anything here but fun. Exploring anyone's art is always a fun experience. Every opportunity to recreate someone's art is a lesson in exploring not just them, but yourself. How would you add in this feature? What would you do to make this easier? Is there a process that you prefer? All of these questions and more should come up during a DTIYS challenge. Doing something like this can always help and push you to be a better artist. This can especially be true in terms of art block. I'm usually very inspired to try new ideas and utilize my discoveries in personal art after a DTIYS. The things I got inspired by this time were the dress rendering and the bunnies. Definitely going to be putting these into practice soon. And there we have it, another DTIYS down. Let me know what you guys liked about these, what you didn't like about them, and if you guys want to see me do DTIYS challenges from specific artists. With that being said, I'll see you soon.